Hola! Welcome to the 31st. How's it going? It's going great, thank you, as we have a whole new generation of Pokemon on the horizon. Currently, we are just 2 trailers deep into our knowledge of Scarlet and Violet, but that's already enough for us to have met 3 characters that we can analyze today. Our friendly rival/guide Nemona, and for the first time ever, 2 version-exclusive professors, Sada and Turo. So before we get into the heavy stuff, let's take a look at our sunny and energetic amigo, Nemona. Nemona is another trainer in the world of Scarlet and Violet, and is said to have undisputed skill in battle, which I highly doubt as we get to face her pretty early on. From what we know so far, she loves Pokemon battles, and will be our guide through our free-roaming adventure through the region. Nemona is a young girl, just a little bit older than the player characters, probably in her teens or something, with tanned skin, large orange eyes, and freckles all over the bridge of her nose. She's got long black hair pulled back into a high ponytail, with 3 little cowlick anime swooshy things, 2 of which are green, and kind of give her a fruit look. Sort of like she might have leaves or something. The most interesting piece of her design seems to be this red and black gauntlet attached to her right arm. It's sort of like a skin-tight black sleeve that goes into this armor-esque piece, which itself has these thin tubes, or maybe ridges, that travel along the forearm and into this ring at the wrist. Then out to the knuckles, which sort of become, well, just skin-colored fingers, which are probably just her fingers. It's a very curious device, and it makes me wonder if Nemona is disabled in some way, as the official website says that she's not the best at throwing Pokeballs, and that's the arm she uses to throw in the trailer. Though it doesn't really seem like she's struggling that much. She definitely throws with her arms straighter than the player, but it's not like she can't bend the arms, so I don't know. So this could be some kind of futuristic bionic enhancement, maybe? I guess we'll find out when we play the game. Nemona has a backpack and running shoes that match her arm, with red, black, and white being the colour scheme. The backpack is small, it's a normal bag with a single strap and a small logo in the bottom right corner. It actually looks like we're getting a whole bunch of companies in this game, just like we did in Sword and Shield, which was a feature that I absolutely adored, so I'm delighted to see that it's returning. Maybe this also means the return of Pokejobs. Even if it doesn't, I think it's a fantastic world building tool, so I'm glad to see it returning. Finally, she's got black Under Armour on her legs. Now, those were the elements of her design that are consistent across both versions of the game. However, just like the players, Nemona is wearing a uniform that varies depending on whether you have Scarlet or Violet. The trailer contained a short scene showing what appears to be the same building, but with 2 different crested shields on the outside. One orange and one grape flavoured. The same crest can be seen on the uniforms that the players wear in the appropriate game, along with their designs having that associated colour as their base. And this really looks like the same building, but the pillars have these metal things next to them which are on opposite sides. This could mean that the buildings will both exist at the same time on the map, but that your version of the game will determine which, presumably school, you belong to. I say school because this looks like a school uniform to me, and we are children. But on a positive note, girls get to wear shorts instead of skirts, which is, equality and progress. The Scarlet uniform consists of a white polo with a pocket over the left breast, and the school's insignia on the left sleeve. In the trailer, we can see that this is made of a very strange material, and honestly, it looks really uncomfortable. Furthermore, it has striped orange cargo shorts with blue strings. The players wear these white knee-high socks with a red ring and a blue hat. And for some reason, Nemona isn't wearing either of those. And finally, an orange tie that Nemona has over her bag strap for some reason. The Violet design is very similar, except that the polo is more grey than white and has a grape crest on it instead. Well, I guess all the orange stuff is also now purple, and the shorts are sadly stripe deficient, and the socks are now black and yellow. Lastly, the hat is white now. Technically, the shoes are also different, but who cares? Nemona's name comes from the Nemophila genus of flowers, which are commonly known as baby blue eyes, which she obviously doesn't have. But Nemona's not the only character that was revealed in this trailer. We were also introduced to not 1, but 2 Pokemon professors. And in Scarlet, our mentor will be the radiant Sada, who's orange, but in a good way. She's a badass cave woman who might have accidentally walked right off the pages of Dr. Stone. She has slick back, shoulder length, light brown hair, which is all wild and mane-like, ridiculous blue eyes, and just the perfect smile. Like I said, her aesthetic is cave woman, so she has these torn looking orange and brown fur clothes, and her lab coat has bone buttons and a fur collar, although it could also be feathers to match Koraidon's design. Specifically, she's wearing a Stone Age crop top and short shorts with orange UGG boots. UGG. They're actually sandals with like ankle warmers, but it kind of works. She's also done a ton of accessorizing. Around her neck and waist are these beads with white arrowhead shapes, and she's also got orange arrowhead earrings. There's also some strange orange and brown striped cones in her hair, which I guess could be shells or something. Wearing shells has long been a symbol of wealth and a strong connection to nature across the globe, so that would make sense with her prehistoric theme, but they could also be something more modern. While she's obviously dressed like an early Homo sapien, she's also wearing what looks like a scrunchie on her right wrist and a more modern, or at least Bronze Age bracelet on her left. She's also wearing orange nail polish and probably lipstick too. That said, painting one's nails has actually been around since 3000 BC in China, and in Egypt, women are said to have dyed their fingertips with henna as far back as 5000 BC. The legend Cleopatra herself was said to have dyed her own nails a blood red, and so did Queen Nefertiti. Lipstick is similarly old, dating back to around the same time in Asia, where it was worn by ancient Sumerians and the ancient people of the Indus Valley. And again, painting one's lips was another fashion trend adopted by the ancient Egyptians. So with the last mammoths dying out around only 4,000 years ago, really a cave woman wearing makeup isn't that absurd. A really curious bit of her design is hidden subtly in her gorgeous eyes. I would never have even considered this until I saw the concept art for Sabi, but this light blue tint could be a sign of psychic abilities. Maybe in the past it was more common for humans to have Esper powers, and this could be a hint to that. I've long held the theory that the energy in the Pokemon world is running out, and that there used to be more which maybe early humans had greater access to. Or it could just be a stylistic choice, as other characters have similar glints in their eyes, which are a lighter version of their eye colour. Just a coincidence that hers is a shade of psychic. The final quirk of this prehistoric professor is that for the first time she isn't named after some kind of plant. Instead, her name appears to be derived from Pathada, which is Spanish for past, because, you know, she's a cave lady. On the other hand, Turo, the professor for Pokemon Violet, is called that because of the Spanish word for future, futuro. Turo is a slightly older gentleman, which we can tell from the lines on his face, with slick back brown hair and an undercut. Weirdly, his hair, beard and eyebrows have all been shaved into these perfectly straight lines, which makes him look slightly robotic, and I know maybe that's just the future. And futuristic is just kind of this whole guy's vibe. He looks like he could just be from Tron or something, with his skin-tight, glowy purple bodysuit, which also kind of resembles Miraidon and its own glowing bits. Over the top of that, he's wearing a future lab coat, which just means that the buttons are now square, and there's some weird purple bits that sort of join the sleeves to the torso. The inside also appears to be purple, and the collar is just unnecessarily big. If you hadn't guessed it already, the main color of this guy's design is purple, while the main color of Sada's design is orange because of the games they come from. Although I was under the impression that Scarlet was like a really dark red, not like orange at all, but you know, hey, whatever. They probably just didn't want to do another Pokemon Red, so orange it is. An extremely bizarre thing though is that the two characters have the buttons of their lab coats on opposite sides, which at first I thought just might be because maybe one was left-handed and one was right-handed, but since I noticed the pillars being on opposite sides of the school crests, it started to make me wonder if the two games don't take place in some kind of like mirror reflections of each other. The screenshots with Nemona in purple don't really seem to support that though, they just look the same, but at the end of the day, it's cool to think about. And that's basically it, so thank you very much for coming. I hope you enjoyed. There's tons more character design videos on the channel if you would like, and there's definitely going to be more for Scarlet and Violet characters coming soon, so please subscribe to see those. Thank you very much for listening. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video. Like, subscribe, and goodbye. Thank you.